February 1st days, 1945. My dearest Akiko, as I write this letter, the island of Iwo Jima looms large, a small dot in the vast Pacific Ocean. The air is heavy with the smell of salt and the distant rumble of the sea. We have been preparing for the American invasion for weeks, fortifying our positions and gathering supplies. Our commanders, General Kuribayashi and Colonel Nishi, have instilled in us the importance of defending this island at all costs. It is a critical point for our defense and a key stepping stone for the Americans towards Japan. The weather here is harsh, with strong winds and constant humidity. The volcanic terrain is unforgiving, with jagged rocks and ash making movement difficult. We have been digging tunnels and bunkers, creating a network of defenses that we hope will withstand the enemy's assault. Our food consists of rice, dried fish, and vegetables, supplemented by whatever we can forage. Despite the harsh conditions, we remain resolute. I miss you and our children deeply. The thought of returning to you gives me strength. Our love is my guiding light in these dark times. The nights are filled with the sounds of the sea, and I often find myself thinking of our home, the peaceful nights we shared. I dream of the day when we can be together again, away from this madness. With all my love, Takeshi. February 10th, 1945. My dearest Akiko, the tension on the island is palpable. We know that the American invasion is imminent, and every day brings new preparations. Our fortifications are nearly complete, and we have stockpiled as much ammunition and supplies as we can. The men are focused and determined, but there is an undercurrent of fear. We know that the coming battle will be fierce. The American fleet has been spotted on the horizon, and we expect them to begin their bombardment soon. The skies are cloudy, and the wind carries the scent of the sea. The sound of waves crashing against the shore is a constant reminder of the battle to come. Our spirits are high, but we are prepared for the worst. I think of you often and draw strength from the hope of seeing you again. Your love is my anchor in this storm. I wonder how you and the children are coping with my absence. Do they understand why I had to leave? I hope they remember me fondly and know that I am fighting for their future. With all my love, Takeshi. February 19th, 1945. My dearest Akiko, today, the Americans began their assault on Iwo Jima. The bombardment started at dawn, with the roar of naval guns and the whistling of shells filling the air. The ground shook with each explosion, and the sky was filled with smoke and fire. Our fortifications held, but the devastation is immense. The American forces landed on the beaches, and the fighting has been intense. We have been engaging them with everything we have: machine guns, mortars, and artillery. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder and the cries of the wounded. The battle is chaotic, and the enemy is relentless. I fear for my comrades and for myself, but we fight on with courage and determination. The thought of you and our children gives me strength. I pray that we will see each other again. We launched a counterattack at noon, but their firepower was overwhelming. I remember the look on Private Tanaka's face as he charged forward. His bravery was unmatched. Yet many of our friends did not survive the day. With all my love, Takeshi. February 25th, 1945. My dearest Akiko, the battle for Iwo Jima rages on. The Americans have made significant gains, but we continue to hold our ground. The fighting is brutal and unrelenting. The air is filled with the sounds of gunfire, explosions, and the screams of the wounded. The nights are the hardest, with the darkness amplifying every sound and shadow. Our supplies are running low, and the men are exhausted. We have been fighting for days with little rest, and the toll is evident. Many of my comrades have fallen, and their loss weighs heavily on my heart. Despite the hardships, we remain determined to defend this island. I think of you constantly and draw strength from the hope of returning to you. Your love is my guiding light in this darkness. The weather has been unforgiving, with torrential rains turning the ground into a muddy quagmire. The men are struggling to keep their spirits up. I find myself praying for a miracle, something to turn the tide in our favor. With all my love, Takeshi. March 10th, 1945. My dearest Akiko, the situation is becoming desperate. The Americans have pushed us back, but we continue to resist. Our fortifications have been battered, and we are fighting from whatever cover we can find. The terrain is treacherous, with jagged rocks and ash making every step a challenge. The men are weary, but their spirits remain unbroken. We fight with everything we have, knowing that our sacrifice is for the greater good of our homeland. The air is thick with smoke and the smell of burning flesh. The cries of the wounded and dying are a constant reminder of the price we pay. I miss you more than words can express. The thought of you and our children gives me the strength to carry on. I pray that we will be reunited someday. We launched a night raid on their supply lines, hoping to disrupt their advance. It was a harrowing experience, moving through the darkness with only the stars to guide us. We managed to destroy some of their supplies, but at a great cost. Private Sato, my close friend, was killed in the attack. His last words were of his family, just as mine would be of you. With all my love, Takeshi. March 26, 1945. My dearest Akiko, the battle for Iwo Jima has ended. The Americans have taken the island, and we have been ordered to surrender. The devastation is beyond words. The ground is littered with the bodies of my fallen comrades, and the air is heavy with the stench of death. We fought with everything we had, but it was not enough. The Americans were relentless, and their superior firepower overwhelmed us. The island is now a wasteland, a testament to the brutality of war. My heart is heavy with sorrow for those we lost, and for the defeat we have suffered. I am alive, but my spirit is shattered. The thought of you and our children is the only thing that gives me hope. I pray that I will be able to return to you someday. The sun sets on Iwo Jima, casting long shadows over the battlefield. The cries of the wounded have faded, replaced by an eerie silence. I sit here, writing this letter, hoping it reaches you. The stars above remind me of the nights we spent together, dreaming of a future that now seems so far away. With all my love, Takeshi.